So, Marty, is this your merchant banker, Shivam, is it?
No, Just. No. I do the news, the whiskey news every week, and I troll the internet looking for stories. And as you know, I've mentioned this lots of times now, that India is the biggest whiskey drinking nation in the world. And this guy, his face popped up, and he has opened a distillery in the Himalayas. And he's a young guy, wants to bring premium whiskey to India, Indian, locally made, high quality whiskey in, well, possibly one of the most beautiful regions in the world. So, Shivam Ginglani, how are you?
I'm very fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Now, I read up a little bit ago, and you went to university in Manchester, and you studied, was it economics or finance, business?
I studied economics from here in Delhi University. I'm from Delhi, India, and I did my undergrad in economics from here. And then I came to your part of the world doing finance and business economics from Manchester Business School. This is way back in 2013, a good 6-7 years back.
Yeah. And was it then that you got a taste for whiskey, or like whiskey, before you came over?
I think when I was there, you used to pre-drink before going out to a club, a group of friends. And we usually used to have bourbon whiskeys, not the regular scotches. I think primarily because they're more palatable and slightly on the sweeter side as compared to a traditional scotch. And I think our go-to one was Jack Daniels back then. I think it's a great tasting whiskey. It's got a great heritage, but yet it's positioned as a young brand. So I think they've got a cool legacy there. So that's what intrigued me into this world. And I think when I came back home in India, and I started understanding this industry over here, all those premium whiskeys, you get for 25 pounds in the UK, are priced above the 3,000, 4,000 mark here in Indian currency in India. And I think probably less than 2% of India can afford that. So there's a huge gap, I feel, which could be addressed in terms of adding to the accessibility of great quality tasting whiskeys in India right now.
When you look at the figures, for whiskey consumption in India, now, just to put this into perspective for a lot of people, India has twice the population of all of Europe. It's 4 times the population of America. And the best-selling Scotch whisky in the world is Johnnie Walker Red Label, which sells about 18 to 19 million 9-litre cases a year. Of the top 25 best-selling whiskies, now I have to put a little caveat on that, because some of these wouldn't be classified as whiskies in Europe. Indian whiskies occupy 13 of the 25 positions. So there's Officer's Choice, Royal Stag, Howard's Fine, Royal Challenge, Bangalore whiskey. And the sales figures for these are just incredible. McDowell's, nearly 31 million cases. You're talking heading towards double what Johnnie Walker's producing. And it's just enormous.
So I'll give my take on that. Undoubtedly, we are the largest consumers of whiskey in the world. We love our whiskeys. And I think if you look at Officer's Choice, that comes from an Indian company called Allied Blenders and Distillers. They're headquartered in Mumbai. And they are the ones who sold, I think, 34 to 35 million cases. And at its peak, so that's like you're saying, doubling what a Johnnie Walker Red Label is doing. But all these whiskeys are priced very, very economically in our country, right? So these are companies which started, growing, setting up base in the early 90s, like ABD, and they've taken around good 2 decades be here and be on top of the world in terms of selling their whiskeys in at that many numbers. And I'm sure that Officer's Choice is selling in more than 50 countries right now, apart from India.
It's just when you see it in black and white in terms of the sales figures, it's just, I mean, it's mind blowing. Now,
Marty, can I ask him? I mean, you're saying this isn't going to be a premium brand, but it certainly looks a premium brand. When you look at the packaging of this, Shivam, it looks like a premium brand. It looks up there with the rest of them. I mean, that bottle looks pretty impressive coming out of that stream there.
Yeah. So we here at Ginglani Distillers are maybe probably the second, third wave of whiskey makers here. You must have known of Amrut whiskey, the Amrut Indian Single Malt, which launched in 2004 in the UK. They were set up in 1948. We are probably the post-internet. So in India, internet became extremely cheap in post 2015. So what the consumers, the middle class of India, are right now looking at is access to global brands now. They're exploring, they're learning, they're traveling a lot more than what maybe my father generation did, right? They were the first ones to head out. I think it's a great time. The next decade looks absolutely fantastic in terms of creating premium products, for the masses, because there's a huge bunch of Indians who are now spending more on experiences rather than buying their homes or cars. So I think a lot of that happened in the previous generation. They were making saving for building their houses, buying their first cars. But I think our generation and the privileged ones have that in order. And I think right now we are asking questions like, where is my whiskey made, right? How does it taste? And those questions may be rudimentary or for the European market or the American market, but that's where India is at right now, right? So if you look at Officer's Choice, it's made in some maybe 80 places in the country, right? And that's not a small task to manage.
No.
They have humongous operations because India has around every state in India is literally a country. In terms of regulation, in terms of policy making, every state is a different country. So what these Amruts and Officer's Choice have been able to establish is give a base, a confidence level to the next set of people like us to take it further, to level up. So I think you'll see makers from India coming about now in the gin space, in the whiskey space, in the beer space, presenting to the world more premium offerings, and that's what exactly we're doing at Ginglani Distillers here.
Now, your brand is Black Bull, and as I've said, you are based in the Himalaya. Why did you decide to set up operations in what seems a very remote area?
So Marty, when I came back to India, what I did was, before starting up anything, I traveled quite a lot across India. So I went to the northeast, beautiful place, a lot of green hills. I went to the south, which is the Deccan region in India. I went to the north. So if you look at the Himalayan region and the source of water, which is 60% of your whiskey, it's absolutely fantastic in that region. I think so. The source of water in the Himalayan region is absolutely fantastic. The quality of water over there, and I think when I was traveling across, I couldn't find any better place for a whiskey making in terms of not only water, but in the environment conditions, the aging conditions, everything in that space is probably the best in the world. And I truly believe it's in a similar capacity how Scotland is for the whiskey world and for the world. I think the Himalayas has a lot to offer, which is, I think, not explored as yet.
Well, the one thing about it is you are 6,000 feet above sea level. I'm right in that. Yeah, in terms of pressure, I mean air pressure, aging in casks. It'd be interesting to find out just how that interplay with the cask and the spirit is going to do at 6,000 feet.
So Marty, I think overall India is a tropical country, and we're also very young. We're also learning quite a lot. But what figures we look at, say from Amrut, Paul John, the single malts which have started way before us, the Angel's share is slightly higher in a tropical country like ours, but the aging also happens faster.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we're experiencing. So the internet would tell you that it's maybe double, say a 3-year or a 5-year-old whiskey is as good as a 10-year-old whiskey in Scotland. But I think that number might not be accurate, but it's for sure faster from Scotland. Another, I think, global example is called Cavalan. I think that's also in a tropical country in Taiwan, and I think they're also releasing non-age statement whiskies primarily because of the fact that if you're a 5-6-year-old whiskey and it's as good as an 8-10-year-old, I think it's a set pattern that you release a 12-year-old or 15-year-old, 18-year-old. But I think that pattern is now breaking. The world is seeing a lot of non-age statement whiskies. Kilchoman is doing it, I think, in Islay. I think Teeling is doing a phenomenal in Ireland. So I think that's what you're seeing through. You'll see through Indian whiskies as well.
Yeah. Now, Irish whiskies, because we're Irish whiskey review. Do you have any Irish whiskies over there? I see whiskey behind you. Is there any of those Irish?
I do. In fact, I do. I have 3 of. I have 3 of them. So you have the one which I think probably the world knows now.
Everybody knows Jameson.
I think they're doing a pretty good job there.
They are.
I think I'm a fan of this guy called Conor McGregor. You must have heard of him.
Oh yes.
Have you heard of Conor McGregor?
Marty doesn't like him.
Yes,
well, he doesn't like his whiskey. But I love him in case he fights me.
Well, whatever he is, you might like him or not, but I think he's putting your flag up high in all across the world, I guess. So,
yeah, definitely.
So, I think more power to the guy. So we've got to. Although I truly feel my whiskey is better than his.
That's not big.
And I'm not joking about it. We can have a bout.
That's not a big ask. Not a big challenge to be better.
He would like, yeah. I think if you do a fire off between Proper 12 and Black Boy, I think we would
go hands down. Now, you have a bottle of tea there as well.
Oh boy!
Justin's scared in case Connor comes.
I've got another one. Yeah. I'm yet to try this one. This just came in. A friend bought it across.
Very nice.
That'll be the best of the 3 Irish you have there. That's very good. Very good. I was drinking it the other night. A bottle sitting down.
Yeah.
In terms of your actual production, what capacity do you have? Is it a big distillery, a small distillery, craft, or are you wanting to go for volume?
So we are yet to kick in big numbers. We're just sorting out. We're experimenting. We take help from sometimes a nearby distillery as well, because we don't have all that stock. So and that's also in the Himalayas again. So for us right now, we're just stepping, making our first few steps in this world. What was surprising to me, Marty, was there were whiskeys made in the Himalayas earlier, right? In this region, in this part of the world, but no one really gave it that respect. No one really gave it the amount of respect that the region deserves. And I think we're doing that, and we've just made our first few steps. Good. And it was a pleasure that you reached out to us to explain our small little journey we've just begun. And I think there'll be a lot more in the future. And probably very soon we'll invite you guys over, and you'll get to taste.
Do you have a background?
Just wants to go already.
Do you have a background in farming, Shivam? Do you have a background in any kind of farming? Because I see you there. You're actually in a field there. It looks like you're testing the chaff there. And I just think to myself, you can be book learned at Manchester University, but this is a big step for quite a young man.
It is. So to answer your first part of the question, I don't have a background in farming, right? What I fundamentally feel is I collaborate with people. I learn from people, and I'm ready to mold myself. So this fundamental thing my dad told me. We live in Delhi. We're from Delhi, the capital of the country. And when you go down to the Himalayas, you have to carry your jacket. You have to carry your jacket, right? You have to mold yourself to the region. If you're going down to the beach, you'll have to wear shorts. So in business as well, I have to consistently collaborate, learn from people who are at their best, and absorb it, because I don't have that much time, to get into everything myself. So we collaborate with different makers, and understand from their journeys, and what maybe in their current capacities they wanted to do, but they couldn't do it. So I meet certain your blenders and distillers who keep on experimenting, but their experiments don't get released, right? Sometimes. And then the vision for me, for my whiskey is, it has to be extremely flavorful and palatable, at the price point I'm offering it in India. um, it's really smooth, and all those factors are coming from my global exposure, right? So there's a certain way Indian whiskeys are made. I'm trying to change that, keeping in mind the next decade, keeping in mind what I would like to go and have it in a bar. um, uh, that mindset, because big companies in India are run by 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and I think they've done a phenomenal job. But going forward, you need, and that's my 2 cents. You need a fresh take, because the audiences are evolving here in India. We are a very young country. The median age of the country is 29 right now, right? So we've got a glorious next 2 decades ahead of us, and I think every one of them will premiumize. Everyone will make sure their wallet size is increasing, and then they try great tasting whiskeys. And also, I think, Justin, Marty, what's happening here in India is, 2 decades back we might not have taken pride, to be honest, in the kind of quality Indian whiskeys were producing, right? But now I think, post 2015, I think, the younger crop is coming up, and giving you your great tasting Indian whiskeys, and we are taking pride in that. Just how the Irish already do. We are coming onto the global stage now, and we're winning awards, and we have the numbers to back us. Right? There's no doubt of that. We are 1.4 billion strong people. We're coming for the world now.
You're coming for the world. I mean, in terms of the economy of it's growing 7+% a year, and obviously COVID has played its part in everybody in the world economy. But when you see the US has 2,000 distilleries in it now, I mean, India could have easily that, and there's going to be really exciting things coming out of India. I honestly think it's just an amazing place. Me and Justin are guides, and we get Indian groups coming over, and Indian people are so fun. They have a level of joy that most other countries just don't have. They're just fabulous people, hilariously funny in times, And what is it about Indian men and their hair? They're always the hair has to be always 100%.
We don't have any hair, Marty. You're just jealous.
Just jealous.
Yeah, that's right.
But Shivam, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Marty, I'll send some nice oil over to you.
Yes. Get my hair. Justin needs to be wee mop, wee cloth just to get his hair shiny. Shivam, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the success in the world, and we'll stay in touch. And if I can, I told Shivam about Irish poaching. You never even heard of poaching. I'm going to have to get a little bit of it sent over to him, because I could see how Irish poaching might work in India, because it's an awful lot cheaper than whiskey. Bags of flavour in it, maybe something for the future. Who knows? For a long time, poaching was illegal because it was made at home, and so there was no tax paid on it. And it's always been the poor relation of whiskey, but it's not really. Now it's a protected brand.
But you must always pay the tax man, Shivam. That's the most important thing. The tax man always wants a bigger share than the angels. Isn't that right?
A far bigger share than the angels.
I just have to show my Chennai Super Kings.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
You're a Dhoni fan. You're a Chennai Super Kings.
Dhoni, what a player.
I think
Chennai Super.
Absolutely fantastic. I think that guy is Captain Cool.
Captain Cool, he definitely is. Shivam, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Marty and Justin, for having me.
Yep. Right, all the best, Shivam. Thank you very much. All the best. Cheerio. Bye bye.